So my concern is on the tariffs. Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary? No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry, well...
Who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question.
Here's the million-dollar question. Who really pays for tariffs? If you guessed China, think again. Because when Congressman Mark Pocan pressed Scott Bessent for an answer, things got awkward real fast.
Remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Bessent came in acting like he had all the numbers, all the talking points, all the confidence in the world. But the second Pocan flipped the script and asked the real question, you could see the cracks start to show. It went from smooth Wall Street charm to, well, a guy dodging like his life depended on it. Pocan kept pushing, and the more he did, the more Bessent stumbled. By the end, it didn't look like a debate. It looked like a takedown. Pocan didn't waste time with pleasantries. He opened by laying out the cold facts. The first 100 days of the administration had brought the lowest stock market since Richard Nixon. Not exactly the economic milestone anyone brags about.
My main concern is, I think, what people are looking at the economy. The first 100 days, lowest stock market since Richard Nixon, not usually a measure people are shooting for. On tariffs, the fact that last year we had an effective rate about 2.5%, I think.
Then he turned to tariffs. Last year, the U.S. had an effective tariff rate of about 2.5%. But according to the Yale Budget Lab, and yes, Pocan made sure to note that Bessent himself went to Yale, the rate had skyrocketed to nearly 28%, the highest since 1901. Now that's not just some boring number sitting on a report. For small businesses, it's straight up chaos. One day tariffs are up, the next day they're down. On again, off again, like a bad light switch. But it didn't end here. Pocan didn't sugarcoat it either. He said it's like a crazy Ivan move, a sudden wild swerve that nobody sees coming. Or, in his less polite version, picture a monkey flinging dung. You don't know where it's going to land, but you do know it's going to leave a nasty mess.
I think the Yale Budget Lab, and I believe you went to Yale, has said that effective rate is closer to 28%, the highest since 1901. I know some of that's changed because the tariffs are on again, off again, some on again, some off again. Somewhat chaotic, I believe, as your term is what, crazy Ivan style. I compare them to how a monkey throws dung. You're not exactly sure where they're going to land. And that's the concern I have as a small business owner. And
this wasn't just a clever insult. Pocan was channeling what small business owners across America are feeling. He said it plainly. I've got small businesses really worried. For them, tariffs aren't a theoretical policy. They're a day-to-day nightmare. And then he landed the punch. Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary?
Ms. Luzenkamp-Perez as well. I've got small businesses really worried. You made a comment about while cargo volumes have dropped 60%, you see this as a temporary detox. But for a small business that's getting by day to day, that's much bigger. You talked about Main Street. We want to finally focus on Main Street, not Wall Street. I think you were at a global investor conference in Beverly Hills yesterday. That's the cocktail party where you mentioned the crazy Ivan theory. And before that, you were at a JP Morgan Chase World Bank private investor summit. All those things are not Main Street, right? Main Street is an auto body repair, a specialty printer. So my concern is on the tariffs. Who pays tariffs, Mr. Secretary?
That's it. A straightforward, simple question. But what happened next? Bessent stumbled. He hesitated. He danced around it. And in politics, silence speaks louder than words.
No. Answer the questions I asked, please. I only have 5 minutes. Who pays tariffs?
Sorry, well...
Who pays tariffs?
Sorry,
Mr. Secretary, please.
Excuse me.
The question is very simply, who pays tariffs, Mr. Chairman? I'd like him to answer that question. He wants to answer other questions.
Well, Congressman, if the exporters, they dislike tariffs so much, why wouldn't they, if I think what you're trying to get me to say...
Did you remember the question? I'm not sure you did. Who pays tariffs?
It's a very complicated question.
Reclaiming my time. People pay tariffs, right?
Instead of answering, Bessent tried to dodge. rambling about exporters and complicated scenarios. Pocan wasn't having it. He cut him off with the phrase that became the theme of the exchange, reclaiming my time. Over and over, Pocan repeated it as Bessent stammered, but then the real show began.
Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time, Mr. Secretary. Reclaiming my time. You clearly aren't going to answer. I'm not going to waste my time having you go, Mr. Secretary, reclaiming, Mr. Chairman, I asked reclaiming my time.
Tariffs.
Mr. Chairman.
It was brutal. On live TV, a top official couldn't answer the most basic question about tariffs. Who actually pays? But here's the thing, it's not actually complicated. Economists across the board agree that tariffs are taxes. And who pays them? Consumers, you, me. Every ordinary American buys goods that are imported or relies on imported parts. When tariffs are slapped on foreign steel, aluminum, electronics, or lumber, the cost doesn't magically disappear. Companies pass it down the line, and guess who's at the end of that line? The American people.
And I asked to reclaim my time. Did I not? No, I said reclaiming my time because he's clearly not answering it. So as a small business owner, and unfortunately I'd like that time back since you failed to recognize me for 30 seconds. So I just recently from one of my suppliers got the tariff surcharge.
Pocan knew this, and he was determined to make Bessent say it. But instead, Bessent tried to hide behind jargon. Pocan didn't let go. He shared his own experience as a small business owner. He told the room how he recently got hit with a tariff surcharge from a supplier, and it didn't stop there. Even American-made products like walnut plaques that had nothing to do with tariffs were suddenly marked up because companies knew they could get away with it. If you figured that was the peak, trust me, the real storm's still coming.
On things. And in addition to the tariff surcharge, guess what else got raised? American-made walnut plaques. That has nothing to do with tariffs, but companies take advantage and do that. So right now, we are getting screwed right and left because of the indiscriminate use of tariffs.
That's the ripple effect of tariffs. It's not just about foreign imports. Once tariffs create an excuse, companies across the board raise prices. That means small businesses are paying more, families are paying more, and consumers feel it in everything from groceries to holiday shopping.
That's the reality for Main Street. And you go off to Beverly Hills for private investor conferences and talk about.
But Pocan didn't stop at just exposing the pain. He went after Bessent's credibility. He pointed out that while small businesses are struggling, Bessent has been spending his time at private investor summits in Beverly Hills and global banking conferences. Main Street versus Wall Street was Pocan's theme. While Bessent talks game theory and crazy Ivan strategies with billionaires, small businesses are drowning under the weight of tariffs. When pressed about his so-called crazy Ivan theory, Bessent tried to explain it as strategic uncertainty. In other words, keep trading partners guessing. Sounds clever in a textbook. But Pocan wasn't impressed. Just when you think it can't get any wilder, it does.
Crazy Ivan theories. Answer that. What is the crazy Ivan theory of tariffs that you mentioned at the summit?
Well, first of all, sir, I've had meetings with more than 50 small lenders. So I want to clarify that. I would also say that in game theory, strategic uncertainty, of which you seem to like the name Crazy Ivan.
Well, it's your words, correct? Didn't you use Crazy Ivan at the...
Well, you've used it 5 times. And
that's the question, Mr. Chairman.
I am saying the strategic uncertainty is part of negotiations. That should we say, here's what we'll accept. Please take this.
Okay, I've got your answer. Thank you. I'm going to reclaim my time again.
He shot back. Crazy Ivan is great for really rich people like you, but for people like me, it's not. That's what makes small businesses fail. That's what makes people lose their jobs. That's what makes the stock market tank. That line hit like a sledgehammer. It wasn't just theory anymore. It was reality.
So for a small business, we don't have that luxury, right? When the ports are empty in California and we can't get goods and people are stocking up for Christmas goods, Crazy Ivan is great for, please don't take this offense, really rich people like you, but for people like me, it's not, right? That's what makes small businesses fail. That's what makes people lose their jobs. That's what makes the stock market tank.
Finally, Pocan circled back one more time. Who pays tariffs, sir? And what did Bessent say? That it was a complicated mix. That history shows different outcomes. More dodging, more jargon. Pocan had had enough. He cut him off with the truth everyone already knew. Consumers pay Trump's tariff tax. That's the reality. That was the mic drop moment.
So I'll ask one more time, who pays tariffs?
Sir, the history would show that it is a complicated mix of who pays the tariffs over various times.
This isn't just political theater, this is economics 101. Tariffs may be sold as a way to punish foreign competitors, but in practice, the costs are almost always passed down to American families. Think about it. If tariffs make steel more expensive, car prices go up. If tariffs hit electronics, the price of your phone, your laptop, and even your refrigerator rises. And small businesses, which often run on razor-thin margins, feel it the hardest. Tariffs are taxes by another name, but unlike income taxes or property taxes, they hit everyone equally, and that means the poorest households often feel them the most. That's why this exchange mattered, because when a Treasury Secretary can't or won't say out loud who really pays, it shows how disconnected Washington can be from everyday life. Pocan wasn't asking a trick question. He was asking for honesty. And in dodging, Bessent revealed exactly what Pocan wanted the public to see. That leaders are more comfortable protecting talking points than admitting hard truths.
So that's exactly the problem. If your answer, and you are a very educated person, you have a very impressive bio, cannot answer the question who pays tariffs because you won't answer that, and you say it's a complicated issue, it's not complicated. Consumers pay Trump's tariff tax. That's the reality. And I'll yield back, Mr. Chairman, but I do think next time if I ask to yield back, I would appreciate.
And if you think Pocan was just being dramatic, look at the numbers. Studies show that Trump's tariffs on Chinese imports cost American consumers billions. Economists at the New York Federal Reserve found that U.S. households were paying hundreds of dollars more each year as a direct result of tariffs. For Pocan, this wasn't about winning a soundbite. It was about forcing the truth into the open, that while Washington plays games with trade policy, Main Street is paying the bill. His hearing wasn't about one man's failure to answer a question. It was about what that failure represents. A government too comfortable speaking in theories while families are stuck paying the price. That's why this confrontation matters. It pulled back the curtain on economic doublespeak and forced everyone watching to face the truth. Tariffs aren't free. They're taxes, and Americans are the ones footing the bill. So what do you think? Was Pocan right to call him out this way? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more breakdowns like this one.